home of the Bullets, Home Team Sports.
All right, welcome back to our Jiffy Lube Classic special. And right now we have a tremendous dias array of guests here. We've got three guests that are actually very, very special. And let me start with the Dean of Sports Journalists, the Dean of Writers in Maryland, a guy that's been around and written about both of our other guests for many years, John Stedman. It's a pleasure having you here in our show at Home Team Sports. You'll give us some of your perspective on Baltimore colleges and the growth of football through the years. Along with John, we have Joe Washington, who you all remember for playing with the Colts and then also with the Washington Redskins for 4 years. And, of course, Sanders Shiver played with the Colts on the defensive end of the field, and then he went down and played at Miami. So both of these guys look like they could play right now. They're in great shape. They're both involved in the game. Sanders Shiver will be coaching, assistant coach for the Bowie State team, and Joe Washington will be doing the color with Tom Davis doing the play-by-play for that game. Now, as we talk to our guests tonight, we want you to be able to be involved. Saturday, Memorial Stadium again, Bowie State College against University of California, Pennsylvania. Our guests tonight, we want you to be able to call up and talk to our guest, John Stedman, of course, Joe Washington you just heard from. Sanders Shiver, we'll be talking to him in a moment. Two excellent pro athletes that I'm sure you remember, and of course, John Stedman can talk on any subject. I can't believe your memory, John. Did you write that down or something? Sanders is like going, oh my God.
I don't have anything important to remember. That's what it is.
Our number here is 202-822-6830. It's the Jiffy Lube Classic. It's this Saturday. We invite you all to join it. We're talking about the programs. This is a Division II program at Bowie State, but more than that, it's a program that was had tied Columbia 32 losses straight. Sanders, let's go over to you. You are an assistant coach there, and you've got to know firsthand what this means to these kids. These kids must be ecstatic to turn it around. 1 year, you're tied with the losingest record in college history. Now you're playing at Memorial Stadium and a very respectable program.
Well, you know, that's the reason we are there, to build a program and to really just give these kids something that they can relate to. You know, and the program means that, you know, a couple of years from now they'll be able to come back and really see that they were a part of that. And we were tied for the nation's longest losing streak, but that was just a matter of time for us to break that. And we broke that against Cheney State University, Pennsylvania school, and campus went wild. The kids were ecstatic about it, and the opportunity to play Memorial Stadium is a tremendous one. You know, I was walking around there, I guess a couple of weeks ago, and I got goosebumps. I felt really good about it. I know the kids do too.
Sanders, how did you change the thinking of the squad? I mean, it had a defeat as complex, obviously.
Well, most of the kids we have now are kids that we recruited. When we first got there, we incorporated spring football, and there was a lot of players left over from the old team that they'd had, and they really wanted to be a part of a winning program, and they were willing to go out and lift weights and run and just really get their bodies in shape and understand the type of system we wanted and all the things that could come out of a positive college experience. And they really just responded because there were some men there that was willing to work hard for them and give them the things they really wanted. And, you know, playing college football is a tremendous experience, and it also allows them the opportunity to get an education.
Got to be satisfying for the coaches, too, to take a program that was down and to see it moving and starting to gain momentum and seeing daylight.
Right. It makes us all very happy. But, you know, as a coach, the bottom line is we've got to win more ball games. We need to win more. But just to get our feet wet right now and to win 4 ball games, which we've won, we've tied one, and we have an opportunity this Saturday to be 500 in our second year as coaches.
All right, we'd like to go to the phones. Remind you that our number here is 202-822-6830. Our guest, John Stedman, in the middle of Joe Washington is Sanders Shiver, and we'll talk to Clarence first from Bowie. Clarence, you're on the air at Home Team Sports.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, my question is, I'm from Bowie, Maryland, and I'd like to address Coach Shiver. Would you like to elaborate on the offense as far as the quarterback position and the total offense from last year?
Okay, the offense from last year, our offense is a multiple wing type offense, and I don't think there is any comparison. You know, we have tremendous athletes on the offense now. You know, we've added several players to make that a better offense, and that's really, you know, what we have to do as coaches is to recognize what the problems are in the system and to fix them. And bringing in better offensive linemen, better running backs, tremendous talent at quarterback, which is Clarence Boykins, came from Montgomery Rockville Junior College, had a tremendous junior college career. You know, all those additions to the squad is really what we got to look at. We can't really go back and compare last year.
Sanders, that was Clarence on the phone, wasn't it?
No.
They snuck in, wanted to get you ask some good words about his own play. We're going to be back after a short break with our Jiffy Lube Classic preview. Again, John Stedman, Joe Washington, and Sanders Shiver here to take your calls, 202-822-6830. Stay with us.
What the Jiffy Lube Classic means is that corporate America, i.e. Jiffy Lube, is putting some money behind the program to put these two football teams together, and one is primarily a white team and one is primarily a black team. And what we're trying to do is to first give the Bowie State athletes a real first-class opportunity to demonstrate what they can do and what they've achieved. And secondly, somehow I'm trying to build a clearer picture about the opportunities to work and play together in America.
The Van Patten family loves their cars.
And they trust us to take care of them.
Every 3,000 miles, we bring them to Jiffy Lube. They change the oil with a major brand, replace the filter, lube the chassis, fill the important fluids.
Check the air filter and wiper blades. Inflate the tires. Vacuum the interior.
And wash the windows.
14 quality services in 10 minutes and with no appointment.
Welcome to Jiffy Lube. We'll take care of you like family.
Mac, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Well, I'm asking Sanders Shiver, I know they just got their program on a good foot because it's good to see Bowie come back because I know they've been down for a long while. But when do you think they'll be getting ready to play the bigger schools, maybe like Delaware State or Howard University, in their schedule, in future years, when they'll be able to come up to those type of standards? And I was talking, a question for John Stedman is, do you remember the Morgan State football teams when they put Maryland on the map by themselves by just putting more professional football players than any team ever? And how can you forget Papa Bear, the man who put the state of Maryland football on the map itself?
Good points, Mac, and John, that's absolutely right. Morgan State really put...
Even ahead of Earl Banks was Ed Hurt, who had a streak of 58 consecutive victories at Morgan State back in the 30s and into the early 40s, and Lenny Ford, who went on to the National Football League and played with the Los Angeles Dons of the All-America Conference and then the Cleveland Browns, was a brilliant defensive end. Unfortunately, he had an early demise, but he's with the elite. He's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he played at Morgan briefly and then went on to Michigan and was an All-American before he came into the Pro League.
And all the players Banks had, I mean, the Pro...
Well, Leroy Kelly, it's just a question of time until he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, because he was as fine a running back, I think, as I ever saw. I don't know how Shriver and Joe react to that, but I thought Leroy Kelly could do it all.
He was one of my favorites.
Was he?
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's good defensive ball players coming out of Morgan. I mean, there was more than just the great
Morgan
guys.
has only made brief appearances in Memorial Stadium, down through the years. It just didn't fit their program, I guess, at the time. In the 30s, black colleges weren't playing at Memorial Stadium.
So maybe
They
this is
were
another
playing
good
on the
stepping stone
campus.
to get that back, to get those programs a little spark. Sanders, very quickly, the other question was, when might you make that step? Coach Dolch came from Delaware State.
Right.
That would be the logical next step, possibly, and are you looking ahead to that in a couple of years?
Well, maybe in a couple of years. They're Division I AA. We're trying to build our program, and we're trying to, you know, get recognition in the CIAA. I think we're better off dealing with our competition, and our competition right now is the CIAA. I think all of our players probably think that we can compete at that level, and eventually we probably will be able to. But right now we're in a building stage, and we're going to compete at the CIAA level.
And competing well, you hope you're up to a 500 from having won in a few years. That's a tremendous record. Bowie State, this Saturday at Memorial Stadium, they're going to play University of California, Pennsylvania. We invite you to be there. Joe Washington will be there doing the color commentary. Sanders will be there on the sideline coaching. John Stem will be up there in the booth writing all about it. And there it is, all the stats for you right there. Tickets are available. You can get them at the game, so don't let that turn you away. Come on down and join in. It's Division II at its finest. This is a well-coached team that's really on the move. Let's go back to the phones. Our number 202-822-6830. And Rich, you're up. Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, I was just wondering, in having the Jiffy Lube Classic, why a team like, say, Towson State wouldn't be considered in playing Bowie State, you know, as comparable to California, Pennsylvania, something that might draw a little more interest in the Maryland area.
I would imagine that Jim Heineman, because of his relationship with the college, wants to see it move on and thought that this was a perfect outlet for showcasing Bowie State football and giving a program that needed impetus.
Yeah, I think it started off that way.
If
If Rich saw the beginning of the show, Jim Heineman, who is the owner of Jiffy Lube, is a coach with the Bowie State team, so he took it as a very personal thing to take this program. And don't forget, here's Jim Heineman, who started $2 million businesses. I mean, he's a guy that looks at a hole and says, that's, you know, I'm going to fill that up. He likes to take negatives, make them positives. He says, I want this program to succeed. He's involved in it, and that's what he's doing. He's doing it in a big way. He could have, again, it's a personal involvement, I guess, that made it happen, Sanders.
The other remarkable thing about his life is that he was raised in an orphan home and went on to do the things that he's been able to do. I mean, to become a multi-millionaire and an outstanding success and
I guess we all should
accepted all
say,
over the
John,
world.
at Towson State, heck, great program, tremendous record. Rich called from Towson, and you're probably a little bit hurt that maybe you're not getting the exposure. That program has done very well. It's not a cut to any of those programs. This is a thing that was initiated and pushed from Bowie State, and they get all the credit for it, and they're going to showcase those players. And it'll be your day Saturday, Sanders, and you guys made it happen.
Sanders, can you recruit here and make it go? Can you centralize your recruiting in Maryland and be successful?
Well, that's a good question. We have 56 players from the state of Maryland. We have 13 from the city, Baltimore alone. You know, and the Jiffy Lube Classic, you know, Jim Hyman is on the staff, you know, and it is a personal challenge for him. But, you know, it's all about marketing and building a program. And this is one of the stones that we're building upon. And, you know, Towson does have a tremendous program. And we want Bowie to have a tremendous program. We want our kids to be as proud of their program as Towson is.
Joe Washington,
Well said.
I was going to ask you that. I'm sure your whole life you were too small, probably couldn't play with the big guys, and you were always, you know, Goliath, David and Goliath. You were always David, and the overachiever. So it does give you an extra special thrill to see a Bowie State come in and really produce and show the guys that, hey, we can do it.
Yeah, I think, and plus going back to what you know Sanders was talking about. You know, you talk about the Towson program and the Bowie State program. I'd have to say Towson is at the point now where Bowie is trying to get to. Right. You know, they have a real good program, and of course, you know, the gentleman called in, you know, wondering why we don't have Towson State here. You know, of course, they have, you know, pretty established program. They have a lot of other things, you know, at their disposal of money. Of course, that's what really makes a program, the money you have available to you, I think. And this is a chance for the Bowie State program to, I guess, be showcased, to give the public a chance to see exactly what they're doing, you know, what they're striving for, what they have at this particular point. And as far as being a David, you know, Goliath, well, you know, they are. And it's a struggle, and I think, you know, they have a type of mental attitude to where they understand, you know, that they've got to do certain things to accomplish, you know, their goal, and they're doing them. And the fact that they have Jen Hyman participating in it, of course, helps a great deal.
Okay, let's go back to the phones. Greg from Baltimore, you're on the air. Go ahead. Greg? Greg, you there?
Yes.
Go ahead, you're up.
Yes, I want to know how Coach Stokes feel about being a white saddle, going into a black college school, and turning it around.
I missed the word there, but he is white and it is a black school, so, but he's not here. I'll tell you what, we're going to talk to him later in the show, and you'll get all Dave's comments then. He's going to have some of his players on, Sanders. He's got a lot of guys out there. Some of the guys are making it happen. Dave will be here with some of his players. We'll talk to him about that then to see if he had any special feeling about that. I know he's very proud of the record. He's done a great job with Sanders.
I'm elated that we've had that kind of social progress. That, you know, and it's going to be a point down the line where you're not even going to think about it. It's going to become commonplace,
hopefully,
where white coaches are going to be in predominantly black colleges, the same as in the
One more call before our break. Let's go to it. Frank, you there?
I guess I'd like to address my question to John Stedman. Could you tell me what's the status of Johns Hopkins University football? And
the status of it?
Are there any plans to upgrade it in the future?
I wouldn't believe Hopkins just really wants to exist, and I believe they deserve an immense amount of credit for fielding football and continuing it on the basis that it's been there for over 100 years. And I think that football adds something to a university, to a college, and Johns Hopkins obviously with its great academic renown, realizes that football makes a contribution to university life. And I just applaud Johns Hopkins. It's not seeking a national championship. I remember back in the early 1950s, I, in a small way, had a hand in getting them an invitation to the Tangerine Bowl, and they were highly flattered because they had one of their few undefeated seasons, but they rejected it because they thought that the academics were more important, and that was a direction Hopkins wanted to go. I don't believe that schools like Western Maryland and Johns Hopkins are in it to win national championships or to move to the top. Obviously, they like to win more than they lose, but at the same time, they like to be represented in a great game like football that brings something to a university.
Sanders, you guys all pumped up for this big one?
Yes, we are. You know, the coaches are excited as well as the players.
May have to suit the coaches up.
Yeah. That's to hold us back. I tell you, it's something to look forward to. You know, we're bringing, you know, along with the traditional Memorial Stadium, you know, we're going to have some Coach Corral people there, and we're going to have the Coach marching band there. It's going to be a great day.
Joe, you'll be there Saturday. Any comments from you as we break this segment and get into Coach Dolch will be here after we come back from the break with some players. So our guest right now will be giving us our final comments.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I expect an exciting football game, and of course, I look at, football, as I said earlier, it's football. In fact, to be, two finely tuned and coached football teams on the football field. And I'll just, tell people exactly what they're seeing. And I don't think it'd be really any different from, the pro ranks as far as the level, the relative level is concerned. And you'll see everything you want to see.
I think you're absolutely right. If the levels, if they're competitive, you're going to see good athletic ability, some good plays. John, you're shaking your head the whole time.
Well, I concur with what Joe said. That I don't believe you're going to see a turnaway crowd there Saturday, that this is just the beginning. Bowie State is not exactly a marquee name at this point, but obviously it's going to gain acceptability, and it's a great thing for its program, and it's fine for football overall, and it elevates college football, and when that happens, I'm for that.
All right, well, you all have elevated home team sports. John Stedman, Joe Washington, Sanders Shiver. We thank you for being our guests. We're going to take a short break. We're coming back with Dave Dolch, the coach, with some of his players, and we'll also show some highlights of the best of the offense, receivers, passing, and we're going to show you what this team looks like, so you can go down Saturday and watch them in person. Stay with us.
I think that in part the fact that